Hello, everybody. Welcome to your Sunday edition of The Expendable Show. I'm your host, The Expendable. For those of you new to the show, and I feel like there's probably going to be some new people watching today, we do things a little bit different here than from my TikTok to here. I cover a lot of United States stuff, not just one area. So there's going to be a lot of different stuff you're going to hear about. But I mainly point out the things that I'm interested in, things that I see in the public that that catches my eye and it makes me go, hey, maybe there's something to that. And so I dig into it. So that's kind of how it works. If you like my show, like, subscribe, and ding the bell. That's how the show grows. That's how we can get more people out there watching the show, blah, blah, blah. And for those of you, this episode is brought to you by Gatsby Trading Solutions out of Montezuma, Georgia. They'll trade anything. I say this all the time. They literally will trade anything. Except for maybe a new mayor in London. He's untradeable. Shoot, I forgot to respond back to you, Sarge. My bad. Let me get back. I got to go back down through my messages. I get like 8 billion messages a day, so I got to get myself organized. Rachel, hello. Also, I am also booking for Gary Michaels tour, Bikes, Babes, and Belly Laughs with Russ Nagel and one of the cast members of Chicago Fire, Phil Donlin. These guys are funny. I'm telling you. Russ Nagel's notorious. He's the world's funniest biker. Gary Michaels is the funniest biker hypnotist ever. And Phil Donlin, I mean, the dude's on TV all the time. You can watch him, literally watch him on TV. Hello, Jessica. You're about to have your mind blown with how awesome this show is. But Gary Michaels, we're booking big events. This one's you're not going to be able to just give this specific show a percentage of the door. These are all 3 big name people in the comedy world. So that's that. G-Bro, what's up, man? I see you in the chats. And I seen that it looks very cold in South Bend, Indiana, and you can keep it. But the Colts won today. I got up early and did all my stuff for the day. And I just so I could watch the Colts play in Germany at 9:30 this morning. We beat the Atlanta Falcons. So it was like, me and my friend, we was by ourselves. We're the only Colts fans, and everybody around us was Falcons fans. I thought we were going to get jumped at the bar this morning. And so, we had to get it. Yeah, I seen you guys got a cold, like everything, like Kentucky North is about to get this major cold front, it looks like. I was watching the weather, and I'm like, I hope that don't dip down into Georgia. That's going to be horrid. My dad likes it. He likes it when it snows up in Ohio. He's got a greenhouse, so when it's cold, he'll just go sit out in the greenhouse because it's warm in there all the time. Sarge, I don't know why they do that. They started doing that a few years ago, and now you got to get up early in the morning to watch the games. It's stupid. Why can't it just be about America? But let's get into our statistics. We've got not really a lot changing. Rachel, I'm telling you right now, I've been spoiled by Georgia. It was 70 degrees today. I got shorts on right now. I had to turn the fans on today. It got hot. I wasn't going to turn the air conditioner, the central air on. I just turned the fans on and opened some windows. But yeah, that's about it. So let's take a look at the gas prices around the nation. So the average, according to AAA, is $3.07. Hasn't really changed. It went up and it's kind of stuck there. Same thing with mortgage rates. A 30-year fixed non-FHA loan is sitting at 5.990 on average. Trump's approval rating is kind of dipping down. He's at 42.9. And the Dow Jones ended on Friday at $46,987.10. So that's good. See, G bro, I like the way you think, man. That you can glass half empty or glass half full. G bro said it's 70 inside. Touche. See, all you got to do is move further south. Like if I see one more flake of snow in Atlanta, I'm probably going to just go ahead and move to Miami. I'm just going to go ahead and do it. I don't ever want to see a flake of snow again. I'm so bougie when it comes to the cold now. Yeah, you got to start talking cold, Sarge. So let's get back into our statistics. So the Democrat Party is sitting at 33.6%. The congressional Democrats are at 19% still. They haven't changed anything. So we've been talking a lot about, since Zohran Mamdani, here we go. Like I said last episode, somebody thinks it's funny that I can't ever pronounce names and read. So we got a lot of those names today, just so everybody, so bear with me. I'm going to butcher them. Just like I've been doing where Jessica in the comments is from in Grayson. I cannot, it took me a minute to figure out how to pronounce the town. The town seat, I think is what it is. So I thought it was Leachfield, but I guess it's Lichtfield. So I have these people, they give me enunciations in my comments on my YouTube page because I can't read. So that's always fun. Always got to check when I hear my phone go off because my dad, he will. Yep, see, I got my dad, my fact checker, my live fact checker, my dad. He's got the snowblower ready in Ohio. Snowblower is ready. I don't know what he'd be snow blowing. He's got like a half a mile long lane back to his house. He's gonna snow blow all that. There, Rachel says she's got the bibs out and ready. Yeah, I'll tell you what, you can't go wrong in the snow with a good pair of bibs. I'm gonna tell you that. You'll stay pretty darn warm in some bibs. So, like I said, we've been talking about socialism with Zohran being the mayor. So, one thing I've been seeing a lot on TikTok is the socialists, the leftists, the progressives, whatever you want to call them. They've been saying, well, you guys don't even know what socialism we're talking about. And we're talking about the Scandinavian ones. So, I've already done this. These guys are years behind. So, my first book, From the Mouth, is I already mapped this out, how this is the model that they are going to try to say that they're using is the Scandinavian socialist model. I wrote that book in 2022 when I saw all this coming. So what I did today was I thought, you know what? I know. So I actually have, Sarge, I got a copy. I got one. I finally have an extra one. I'll have it shipped to you. But I wanted to break down to show how ignorant and uneducated they are. So you know how they run around and they're like, we're gonna do Donald Trump says he's a king. He's pretending like he's a king. We don't want no kings. Let's have no kings protest everywhere. Guess what? Norway and Sweden both have kings. Isn't that ironic? We don't want kings unless they're socialist kings. Well, Bonnie, that doesn't sound very nice. I'm hearing a lot of things aren't very nice. I'm going to address them at the end of the show. Norway's king, Harald V, is the reigning monarch of Norway. He ascended the throne on January 17th, 1991, so he's been a king for a very long time. following the death of his father, King Olav V. King Harald belongs to the House of Glucksburg, a branch of the Danish royal family that has ruled Norway since 1905. His heir is Crown Prince Haakon, who's next in line to the throne. Now that's Norway. Sweden, their king is named King Carl the, hold on, it's in Roman numerals. Let me do some adding. 10, 15. King Carl the 16th. Yeah, Roman numerals, they get me too. He's the current monarch of Sweden. He became king on September 15th, 1973. So we don't want no kings, but we want to adopt we even have, they want to adopt a monarchy system. Like, how stupid is that? They don't even know what they're talking about. These young, stupid kids, these super leftists, they've all been suckered into this ideology that isn't even true. So 1973, long-term kings. So that was after the death of his grandfather, King Gustav the Sixth, Adolf. And then King Carl the 16th, Gustav, is part of the House of Bernadotte, which has ruled Sweden since the 1800s. His heir is Crown Prince Victoria, the first female heir apparent in Swedish history due to a 1980 change in succession law. So now that's the monarchy system that they're saying that they want. Now let's go down and talk about the monetary part of these progressive socialist countries. So Norway has a $207 billion government debt, 42.7% of their GDP, compared to $199 billion, which is 33.7% of their GDP for Sweden. So these two countries are in debt heavily for their population. That's a lot. That's a high percentage. The chart below compares the two countries' GDP growth in both current and normal dollars. So we're going to talk about that. So from 2013 to 2022, their GDP has gone up $9 billion. That's it. $9 billion. Their economy is very unstable from year to year. In 2014, their GDP went up 2.3%. In 15, it went down 13.8. In 16, it went up 7%. 17, it had no change. Like, this is how their economy is. It's not stable, and you can't predict it. Now, that's Sweden. Now, Norway is worse. In 2013, Norway's GDP was $522 billion. Today, it's $485 billion. They have dropped 18.3% of their GDP. So when you look at the economies, it doesn't seem too good. The socialist economy doesn't seem like it's a winner. So I took Norway out of the picture because they're the worst economy of them both. So we're going to go with Sweden since it's the better of the two. So Sweden funds its people through a comprehensive social welfare system built on progressive taxation, employer-employee contributions, and high public spending. This model ensures universal access to healthcare, education, pensions, and social services. There's a key here: high public spending. They need you to spend all your money. There's a reason why. I've figured out their whole economy. Key funding mechanisms of Sweden's welfare state are as followed. Progressive income taxation. Individuals will pay taxes based on income level. So you are going to pay taxes in their socialist society, with higher earners contributing more. This helps redistribute wealth and fund universal benefits. Now, they have a value added tax. There's a lot of taxes in this system, I'm going to tell you that. Sweden applies a high value added tax, which is 25% is the standard rate. It's on goods and services generating substantial revenue for public programs. So if you produce a product, the people buying it is going to get taxed 25%. The government's going to get 25%. So you have to adjust your market price to that. But wait, you can't, because the government's going to tell you how much you're allowed to make off of it. They're going to set that standard. So this is going to be bad for business in the public sector. Employer-employee social contributions. So both parties contribute to social insurance schemes covering pensions, unemployment, and health care. So when it comes to public sector spending, here's how that works. Sweden allocates a large share of its GDP to public services, including education, healthcare, childcare, and elder care. So your taxpayer money, which contributes to the GDP, is going to be spent, no matter how hard or how less you work, is going to get spent on the people who need it to help balance out their livelihood. Historically, Sweden's industrial and export sectors have fueled economic expansion, enabling sustained welfare investments. Benefits are extended to all residents, not just low-income groups, reinforcing social solidarity and equal process. So what the rich people get, the poor people will get too. What the poor people get, the rich people will get. So there's a huge socioeconomic flaw right there. Now, healthcare. Let's talk about that. Publicly funded with capped out-of-pocket cost. Includes preventative care, specialist services, and subsidized prescriptions. Now, on the education side, free and publicly funded from preschool through university. Pensions funded through payroll taxes and national contributions. Unemployment insurance managed by union-linked funds, regulated by subsidized, basically the government. Social services are support for families, children, and the elderly and people with disabilities. The government's going to pay for all that. So that's what the progressives want. This part of it, the healthcare, the education, the pensions, the unemployment insurance, and social services. That is what they're selling these young idiots on in our country. Here's the free stuff so you don't have to work. Here's all the free stuff so you don't have to contribute to society. We'll just give it to you. All you got to do is continue to vote Democrat. Historical evolution of... So Sweden's welfare system evolved from church-based poor relief in the 1600s to a modern state-run model by the 20th century. So it was the churches providing all these services, and then the government took over. Sweden's corporate tax rate. Let's talk about that, because one of the big leftist things is we got to raise corporate tax because the rich need to pay their fair share. So let's see how Sweden does it. Sweden has a flat corporate tax rate of 20.6%. What is the United States? I mean, ours fluctuates, but our general tax rate is 21%. So wait a minute. I thought these socialists were supposed to tax the shit out of corporations. They're not. They're actually lower than the United States. That's weird. That's really weird. Why are they lower? So there's also a proposed reduction in place right now that they're getting ready to vote on. That's 20, that drops that 0.6% down to just 20 flat. And that is supposed to take effect January 1st, 2026. So they're about to be a whole percentage point lower than the United States. but there will be no additional local income tax, corporate taxes, sorry. It's designed to be simple and predictable, supporting Sweden's welfare-funded model. They need to know exactly how much money they're going to take in so they know how much money they're going to be able to give out to their welfare babies. So United States corporate tax rates. We have a tiered system. Ours is generally 21%. California, though, you can add an extra 8.84% on top of that. So they're at 29.84, because it's California. They're their own entity, apparently. Other states like Texas, they have no corporate income tax, but impose gross receipts taxes. So their system's a little bit different. I wonder, maybe that's why all the corporations are starting to move to Texas. So let's talk about billionaires, because the lefties keep saying, well, we shouldn't have billionaires. They have too much money. Elon Musk, blah, blah, blah. You're right, Bonnie. Nobody really wants to live in California. So Sweden actually has 45 billionaires. Norway has 17 billionaires. So I broke it down and said, okay, well, let's see how many millionaires they got. Sweden has 610,000 millionaires. Norway has 205,000 millionaires. So while the lefties want you to think that this is their perfect socialist system, this is actually a capitalistic system that has a monarchy. So they're not very smart, for one. For two, they're screwing the people by giving the corporate tax. There's given a corporate tax break. So these rich people in Sweden and Norway can stay rich. That's basically what it is. And these college kids, they don't know any better. These young kids that have been brainwashed all these years by these college professors trying to sell them that let's be like Scandinavia. For two, Sweden, Norway, and Finland are the original colonizers of the United States, of the world. So not only that, they're also going and supporting the people who are notorious for colonizing, but yet the hypocrisy continues. So I kind of, in my book from the mouth, I mapped out what if I was going to do a socialist society, how would I do it? I would do it quite a bit different than this. I would put a $20 billion net profit cap on every corporation in America. 20 billion. Any corporation that makes more than that money is going to go into a fund that the government will hold on to. So at the end of the year, if you went to work 90% of the time, we're going to take that money, that overage, and we're going to call it a profit share. And we're going to give it to all the people. There's going to be no social programs that are paid for by the government, like a lot of these programs that it's not going to be like that. You're going to have plenty of money from the overages to where you can afford everything you need. Pay for it yourself. But the catch is you have to go to work 90% of the time. So there's going to be exceptions for people on like disability. Disability is disability. That's always going to be a government funded thing. But if you're going to have to take a physical every year, and if a doctor says you're able-bodied, guess what? You better go to work 90% of the time or you're not getting your profit share. So I'm also going to get rid of Congress because they're worthless. I'm going to get in each sector. See, Rachel, they're already doing my plan. So I'm also going to make sectors. So like the military, finance, education, everything that we have for the cabinet, I'm getting rid of cabinet people. And I'm going to implement the top 5 brightest people in that sector. So you're not going to have a lawyer doing the military. You're going to have the 5 best military-minded people on the planet are going to be in my military advisor group. Same thing with finances. I'm going to find the 5 best financial gurus in the United States. They're going to be there. So instead of me waiting on a bunch of congressional people that don't know nothing about nothing, they can't agree on nothing about nothing, we're going to do a simple majority vote in their little sectors, and that's what we're going to go with. They're going to brief me on what's going to happen, and that's how it's going to go. You're right, Donna. Snowball would never go socialist. I would never go socialist, but I'm just saying, if these people really wanted to stop being stupid, there's a better way to do it than all these stupid ways that they keep coming up with. Also, I would have a board of religion. So we're not going to sit here and have this giant religious war going on. We're going to stop the money-hungry mega churches. All these send me $600 on Sunday because I'm a televangelist, so that way your prayer counts. We're not doing that no more either. Yeah, I wouldn't live in Cali with Newscomb either. He's the Democrats. I like that. Snowball is the biggest hope for justice. So we're gonna. So Donna already took away my great plan. I was gonna crown Snowball king of Kentucky. Since the lefties want to do socialism, which this is Andy Bashir's wheelhouse too. He's on that same team. Thought, you know what, we might as well just make a king of Kentucky and we'll make it Snowball. So we'll get to that because I've got pictures. So we're going to go into the shutdown. There's some new stuff that happened there. Senate Republicans unveiled a proposal aimed at ending the government shutdown, offering a healthcare compromise that would send money directly to Americans rather than to insurance companies through the Affordable Care Act. So they actually took the Affordable Care Act and did something directly to Americans instead of to insurance companies. Why doesn't anybody like Andy Bashir? It's really weird how everybody in Kentucky hates Andy Bashir, but he gets elected governor. It's weird. The plan, championed by Senator Bill Cassidy, a Republican out of Louisiana, would channel federal dollars into flexible spending or health savings accounts that families could use for deductibles, prescriptions, and other medical costs. I think that's a great idea. I agree and I don't agree, Rachel, to a certain extent. So Republicans say the idea would give Americans more control over their healthcare spending and limit the power of insurance companies. Let's actually think creatively. That's what Senator Cassidy said. He said, can we just give a little bit to find something that benefits the patient, but may also get us out of the situation? I think it's a great idea. As soon as I read it, I was like, holy crap, this is brilliant. The move marks a potential shift for Senate Republicans. For weeks have insisted Democrats end their blockade before any negotiations begin. Heavily agreed. So the latest proposal signals the willingness to find common ground on the healthcare funding issue that has paralyzed Washington for nearly 6 weeks. I don't think that the Democrats can possibly shoot this down. You know how they like to just give money out and just give everything for free. This would be a handout, but it would also solve a problem. So I think it's a good idea. Sarge, I was just talking to my dad about that. So Sarge said, I see New York as the next Detroit with Dearborn rules. Yes, it could happen. Dearborn is a disaster. You couldn't pay me to go to Dearborn, Michigan. Nope, not doing it. So without congressional action, roughly 20 million Americans face higher premiums as temporary enhanced ACA subsidies as they expire. Democrats have demanded a 1-year extension for those subsidies at a cost of about $30 billion as part of any deal to reopen the government. President Trump backed the GOP approach Saturday on Truth Social, and he said, I quote, "We must stop taxpayer money from going to insurance companies and instead give it directly to Americans in HSA-style accounts and let them buy the health care they want." Great idea. Trump's backing it. Let's get it done. But you know how the Democrats are. They're never going to back this because Donald Trump put his stamp of approval on it. So Senator Rick Scott from Florida said he was drafting legislation in line with Trump's call, adding, he totally agrees. I'm writing the bill right now. Democrats, however, remain divided. Senator Chris Murphy, who's worthless, Democrat from Connecticut, dismissed the idea as nonsensical, saying it risks leaving low-income Americans without coverage. Whatever. No idea is a good idea to them. That's what they want. You're right. You're right. If this was Obama or Sleepy Joe's idea, they would be like, this is monumental. This is historical. But others include Senators Ron Wyden, Democrat from Oregon, and Maria Cantwell from Washington, express openness to exploring the proposal if it can be implemented carefully. So you're starting to see some Democrats go, yeah, maybe we should do this. This sounds like a decent idea. So John Thune, he got up there and he started yelling at people again. It was like, you guys are idiots. I just vote this in. Americans are suffering. Which was I actually supported that. So that's where we're at. Hopefully we can get a vote on this week and get this passed. I think it would be a great idea. Now, something I've been seeing a lot on social media that I wanted to bring up. This may be something, it may be nothing. I don't know. I'm kind of unopinionated on it. But we do have some military personnel in the comments, so maybe, and probably watching as well. So I want to run this by them because I don't know any better. So let's find out. Christy Nome has moved into military housing at Joint Base Anacostia Balling, originally reserved for Coast Guard commandant. The relocation followed doxing incidents and threats, including her apartment location being published by tabloids. That's dirty. Why would they do that? Dirty, dirty dogs. Initially, she was reportedly living rent-free through DHS. Later stated she been paying fair market rent. Okay. So they apparently there's a discrepancy there. I don't know. Either way, people shouldn't be doxing. Thank you, Sarge. Commandant. Got it. So Marco Rubio, he now resides on General's Row at Fort McNair, an Army enclave in D.C. His move was part of a broader trend among Trump cabinet officials seeking protection from political violence and protest. Reports mentioned Rubio was seen assembling furniture at his new residence, suggesting a recent and active relocation. Okay, got it. So this is why I need military people in my comments. Sarge knows all the lingo. Not commandant, com and ant. I'm never gonna remember that. Well, I'm gonna try though. So these moves are part of a larger pattern. At least 6 Trump administration officials, including Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth, have relocated to military bases amid rising threats and public unrest following incidents like the assassination of Charlie Kirk. So my thing here is, did they move there? Like, is there a bigger picture? Is it normal for our cabinet members to seek refuge on a military base, or is this like red flagging something that maybe there's a threat we don't know about, or so I'm kind of like, maybe this is just precautionary things because of the Charlie Kirk assassination, or is there something else we don't know because there's still a lot of moving around out there. Yeah. Sarge, you're right. I did write a book. I wrote 2 of them, and I cheated and used a lot of technology to help me get all the words right. I mean, the research is true. Do you know, Donna, I don't know if you know this, but doxing is illegal in Kentucky. It's actually a law in Kentucky in the KRS that you're not allowed to dox people. But we all know that certain people don't have to play by those rules. If you have $1 billion in your bank account, you don't have to follow the KRS. We know that. So now we're going to get into my Kentucky portion. Because I've rambled along about all kinds of stuff. So now we're going to talk about Kentucky because that's what all the folks are here for. So I've started into a new county, which is Grayson County, which is ironic because my stepson's name is Grayson. So he's probably going to be really happy when he hears that I'm going into Grayson County. The first case that I covered was a guy named Lanny Fentress. And Lanny, so on June 9th of 2024, so Lanny he's a model airplane, like a remote airplane hobbyist. That's his thing. From what I understand is he has a massive model airplane set up down in his basement. So Lanny has one of his lithium batteries catches fire. What's up, Rob? How's Canada? Probably nice and cold, huh? But Lanny has Fentress. See, this is why. See, you're gonna find out, Jessica. I can't read, so this is why I need people that can tell me how to pronounce stuff. Rob, I see that. I see that. I build an igloo. Get in the igloo business. And, who knows what's going on with your government. Y'all just kind of quit. Like your government just quit. It's like they don't do anything. But anyway, Fentress. Got it. Lanny Fentress. Apologies to the Fentress family. So him and his son, after this lithium battery caught fire in his basement, they did the right thing. They went and called 911. Okay, so the police show up from Litchfield, Kentucky Police Department shows up, right? So they start running people because that's what they do. They're not letting anybody put out the fire because the fire department apparently was not on scene yet. But the Fentress, Lonnie and his son Darren, were trying to put out this fire, and so the police department didn't want them doing that. They're just standing back watching everything burn down. Well, this altercation happened. Well, apparently they thought that Lanny was had a warrant, but it wasn't him. It was somebody else. So they beat the crap. The police department beat the shit out of Lanny and his son Darren. And so I've talked to Darren a little bit, and he's still very upset over the situation, and rightfully so. And so the big one was at first they charged Lanny, and then they dropped everything, or they tried to indict him. The indictment didn't go through, is what I'm understanding. But then they indicted Sergeant Dennis Newton, who was at the scene. He was one of the primary. So when Lanny tried to re-enter the basement to continue the firefighting, Newton allegedly restrained him, threatened Darren with a fire extinguisher, and both were tased, beaten, and arrested. That's what these guys did to these people. They're just trying to save their house while the cops stand around and do nothing. So Newton was charged with 2 counts of 4th-degree assault, terroristic threatening, and menacing. Then the Fentress family, there is video. Okay, so Jessica's told me that there is video of this event. So that probably helped. Had they not gotten the video, this probably would have went the other way, I would imagine, because that's what these corrupt officers like to do. Figure out how to make it so they're never in trouble. So they've also filed a civil suit, which started off against the Litchfield Police Department, but I think it's gone down. They've dropped Litchfield from it, and it's just with Sergeant Newton now, or former Sergeant Newton. So that's filed under 42 USC 1983, alleging civil rights violations. It includes claims of excessive force, unlawful arrests, and state torts. So there's both going on, the civil case and the criminal case. So the criminal case has no disposition yet. So he's trying to get a stay. Newton's trying to get a stay of his civil case because he knows he's going to lose that. And he doesn't want that civil case to look bad on his criminal case. So there's a partial stay. And so that's kind of where that's at. So I'm going to be digging in more into Grayson County. I'm excited. I've already, talked to quite a few great people. It sounds like there's a whole community of good people that's tired of certain groups of people in the town. And we're going to try to dig everything up on them and get them to resign, just like I do every other town I go into. So I'm going to go down to London and cover. Somebody asked me, said, well, can you let us know about Matt Orr? So Matt Orr is now running for mayor against Randall Weddle. And we're going to cover one other all-star mayor candidate. There's a sleeper in there that I believe is probably going to become the mayor. Yeah. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to dig through the Jason Early case a little bit more because I feel like there's a lot more to that situation, and let them fight it out, because then the information becomes public. So let them have it out. That's what we want. We want the community talking about it to bring this stuff out into the light. Eventually they'll start attacking me like every other town does, but then they realize it don't work, and I still am there. But yes, Donna's right. If those bad officers could just go to London, they'll get a Medal of Valor. She's absolutely right. The bad cops in London get, like, they're on Facebook all the time. Mayor Weddle's just parading them around. Like, look at my security detail. These guys are great cops. How many of those were at the Doug Harless situation? All of them? All 9 of them that they gave out? Wouldn't surprise me. But anyway, so we're going to go through Matt Orr. So I've been paying attention to him ever since he announced his candidacy. He'll be challenging incumbent Randall Weddle in what's shaping up to be a closely watched local race. I know all the media is already looking into it. Yeah, I figured that was the case. So Orr declared his candidacy in October via Facebook and local media, stating he plans to file official paperwork in November. He's a lifelong resident of London, unlike Randall Weddle. Orr is 50 years old. He's a graduate of South Laurel High School, class of 1993, and works in rental and property management. He also helps run his family's campground business near Laurel Lake. Everybody loves the campground family. It's like a given. So putting London first, that's his campaign focus. I think it's a great way to come out. Orr emphasizes unity and collaboration to address the city's challenges. He wants to tackle the homelessness. He's concerned about growing housing insecurity and wants to improve service. Transparency and communication, something that the current mayor seems to, he knows how to say transparency, but I don't think he knows what it means. But Orr pledges to be accessible and responsive to all residents. I like it so far. He's saying everything right. I watched an interview that he did, and he was very mayor-like, and he said all the right things. Oh, he can't say it either. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch. Transparency, parenting, transparenting. Wait, transparenting? I shouldn't pick on him. The Weddleites are going to get mad. See, even Jessica's is all the way in Grayson County, and she already knows that Weddle's a joke in London. That's crazy. So, Orr describes himself as a lifelong Republican, unlike Randall Weddle, who likes to give all his money to Democrats, which is absolutely not a farce. It's 100% Googleable on Open Secrets. Everybody can go look at it. This dude funds more Democrats than probably the Soroses. I don't know if that's true, but I think it sounds good. He's on the level with the Soros family. We'll just put that out there. He did identify himself as a holler rat. I did see that. That's actually his own quote. I got a little holler rat in me. So back into it. So incumbent Mayor Randall Weddle, who was previously impeached by the city council but reinstated by a circuit court judge, is expected re-election. We all know he's going to do it. Now, there's a third candidate that I'm supporting. Matt Orr's a great candidate, but this candidate takes the cake. Snowball for mayor. I'm actually going to push him up the ladder, and I'm going to announce that I want Snowball to be the king of Kentucky for the Socialist Party. Because doesn't he look? He looks like he is just very regal in this picture. He's very regal. Like if you put a crown on Snowball, he's probably going to do well. Actually, it's ironic because when I did my chat GPT, Snowball's a female. Okay, so I got canceled already. I misgendered Snowball. So she is very regal. So I did chat GPT, and Snowball is talked about on chat GPT. So the question, it says, Snowball the cat is running for mayor of London, Kentucky in 2026. It actually says this. And as a satirical protest candidate, the campaign was launched in response to political turmoil surrounding incumbent Randall Weddle, who was impeached by the city council. Who is Snowball? ChatGPT says. Snowball is a white domestic cat it says it's owned by London resident Tracy Handley, but I'm not real sure if that's actually true or not. I don't know who actually owns Snowball, who was appointed acting mayor after Weddle's removal, which it doesn't matter who owns Snowball. Snowball should be the mayor. The campaign is tongue-in-cheek, but it's gained traction on social media and local news as a symbol of civic frustration. So Snowball has become the face, is the face of London. See, ChatGPT don't even know what they're talking about. It's not even Tracy Handley's cat. I'm gonna have to put a correction in there. I'm gonna submit a correction. I know. Look at Snowball. Snowball would be a great mayor of London. So Snowball has a platform that I found. Snowball's fat platform mocks political dysfunction. Snowball is all for more naps and less corruption. I think that's good. Bonnie, tell Rick to do it since he's an actual citizen of London now. Snowball is also for perfect leadership for a better London. So that's Snowball's all about that life. Supporters say the campaign reflects disillusionment with local government, especially after Weddle's impeachment and defamation controversies, which he still has like a bajillion lawsuits going on that the Weddleites refuse to acknowledge. Like, who's going to pay for all those lawsuits when they have to settle them all out? The taxpayers will. Snowball is not legally recognized candidate, but the campaign has sparked debate about write-in candidates, satire in politics, and public accountability. I don't care who you are. the Snowball thing popped up at the perfect time. I think it gives people something to laugh about and something other to hyper focus on that's funny, other than this craziness that's going on in London. Now, I do want to point out, and it's been brought to my attention, that the city council is being harassed, or at least a few of them, from what I've heard. I don't like that. This is typical Randall Weddle retaliation tactics, and I don't understand how the KSP, the FBI, is allowing this to happen. They all know what's going on. Hell, they got an FBI office in London, Kentucky that is completely worthless. And I'm going to continue to tell them that they're completely worthless until they get off their ass and go bust some federal crimes that are happening right in front of their face. Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, what are you guys doing? I don't want to blame you guys, but they're your people. Do something. It's just been announced that what's my dog? I'm start talking about a cat and she starts yiping. It's just been announced that Snowball is going to give out free catnip at the lighting of the tree. Count me in. I'm voting for Snowball. I'm actually, we do illegal voting in this country anyway, so I'm just going to vote. I'm going to go ahead and vote. So Weddle's lawyer, is it still Larry Bryson, or did he retire, or is he out? I'm guessing it's Larry Bryson still. So Larry Bryson posted the city council's home addresses on news sources when he filed his appeal. That's very professional of a lawyer. Very professional. This is why I talk so much shit about Larry Bryson. For one, I think he's a worthless lawyer. I know a lot of people in London haven't seen real lawyers before, but I have. And Larry Bryson, he wouldn't even be the paralegal at most law firms. Oh, it's Carmine. Okay. I would have thought better out of him or out of her. I'm going to have to let me go do some digging on that one. That was intentional, most likely. That's interesting. Very, very interesting. Well, I guess I got another person to tear apart. They're probably not going to like it. But that's going to be my show for the day. We need to get things back to normalcy in Kentucky, and we're going to do it one town at a time if I have to. And I'm going to always keep my eye on London because me and Randall Weddle, we're like this, man. I'm actually surprised he didn't try to pay me off. He never called me and asked to give me any money. I'm very disappointed, which means I better turn up. Donna, we will talk, as for sure. But that's the show. Everybody be safe. I'm out. Peace.